first match of the best-of-5 semi-final here.
We trained all year for this moment.
Roccat pick up game number 1.
All the games were pretty much close.
And Roccat win game number 4. It's all down to the final game of the day.
Nobody expected us to play so good versus Fnatic. All of the matches were pretty close.
Fnatic will be the first European team to book their place at Worlds. So close here to Fnatic, yet so far somehow as well.
We're really disappointed with our semi-final against Alliance because we know we could have done better.
Alliance will take game 1 from SK Gaming.
I'm really salty. I think we could have won.
It's going to be Alliance, ladies and gentlemen, that will represent Europe at the World Championships. The super team has done it. SK versus Roccat will be a fantastic game tomorrow.
This best-of-5 is going to mean everything. I don't care about what people say, and I don't care about if the crowd is cheering for us or not. I just want to go to Worlds.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the European League of Legends Championship Series, coming to you live from Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. Today, the final spot for Worlds is on the line for the European teams. I'm Evie Shock supporter, joined by Trevor Quickshot Henry, as well as our special guest analyst, Mitch Krepo-Voorspoels.
It's a pleasure to be here, Evie Shock supporter, and finally somebody that can pronounce my name right.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And either SK Gaming or Roccat will join Alliance and Fnatic as the European representatives in the 2014 World Championship. But before we get to today's battle, let's take a quick look back at yesterday's semifinals. Of course, first up, it was Fnatic versus Roccat. It went all the way, 5 games. And to me, even though Fnatic qualified, obviously, Roccat left a very good impression.
They did in some ways, but in other ways they really disappointed. I didn't get their style. They played these non-wave clear compositions, but still wanted to split push. So they picked Italy twice. They had split push picks, but then they ended up grouping anyway. So they played 2 games with Italy, but they didn't split. So they ended up grouping like every game. Yet they had no wave clear, so it was really wonky. And it felt like all Roccat can do is go forward. And if they somehow hit a brick wall, then the game is over for them. But their skirmishes were really good. And that's what I'm looking forward to see. Like, is SK's strategy going to take it? Or is Rockat's skirmishing skill going to come out on top today?
I actually completely agree with that. And it was a weird series, because games 1 and 2 were very one-sided, was determined by sort of map play that led to a dragon fight. And once the team got control, they sort of executed quite flawlessly. But games 3, 4, and 5, both of the squads kind of got a bit ropey and a little sloppy in places. Roccat stepped up. They definitely impressed. Fnatic looked a little scary, but they delivered. They went to game 5, and in game 5 they got a lead. They closed out the game. It's going to be an interesting series for Roccat because we don't know at what level they're going to perform against SK.
Yeah, very good point. And of course, we also had Alliance versus SK Gaming. That was our second semifinal. It went 4 games, and honestly, Alliance, they did qualify, but underperforming by a little bit.
Yeah, I talked to the guys before the match. I was really happy to see my old teammates again, and they were super confident. They won all of their scrims so quick that they actually had to ask teams like, hey guys, we want to play longer than 15 minutes. Please let us practice late game. And the thing is, the LCS stage is always a little different. People play a little more passive, a little more wary. Some dude might come up with a sick play that you don't expect him to do, and it showed. But they stayed calm, took it in only 1 loss, 3 wins, and then I think they're ready for the final, and they're looking sharp. I saw some of their scrims, and yeah, they ain't messing around anymore.
I have to agree. You know, at the beginning of the series, Wicked was very uncomfortable. Played Alistair game 1, I was not convinced. Played Alistair game 4, and completely changed my viewpoint. He delivered as he found some confidence and warmed up on the stage in terms of the pick. The other thing is SK. They didn't lose laning phase. They didn't fall behind early on. This has been a problem that's plagued them all year long, and they shook it off against the #1 seeded European squad in the summer split. Up to 20-30 minutes, SK were not behind. So they were there, but the problem for them is late game decision making. If these games go late, as we're expecting them, because it's Roccat, SK can't make the same positional mistakes or they'll be punished.
Yeah, we'll see what they do today. But now we're going to turn an eye towards the 2015 Spring Promotion Tournament. The bottom 3 teams from the summer split have made their selection of who they will play from the European Challenger Series to try to hold on to their spot in the LCS. With the first pick, 6th place Millennium have chosen to take on the 3rd place Unicorns of Love. Next, 7th place Gambit selected the 2nd place finishers SK Prime, which means the Copenhagen Wolves will go head-to-head with H2K Gaming. We just found out which teams the LCS teams have picked, and to me, Millennium, okay, Unicorns of Love was the 3rd place team, but they had such an aggressive playstyle that was quite daunting.
That's going to be quite a fun series to watch because both teams like to go very pick-heavy, very aggressive in your face, and whoever can get the picks earlier or faster might come out ahead. On the topic of H2K Gaming and SK Prime, they both performed to a higher standard than we were expecting in the final, but H2K were very close to not winning it. Some poor decision-making during the course of that best of 5. If they make those same mistakes against the likes of the Copenhagen Wolves or Gambit, there's going to be problems. I think it's going to be an interesting series, and we'll have to see if a challenger squad can make it into the LCS. Nobody did in this summer split, and we'll see if a new team can, new faces can, for the spring split next year.
Yeah, I've watched a fair bit of the EU Challenger scene, and one of the players I liked the most was Julius, because whenever I turned my stream on, he was making a play. But he's no longer part of the scene anymore, so I actually have not that big of an idea of who's going to take it. However, it's going to be interesting to see these teams, because they have to travel all the way to America this time, so not only will they be playing for pressure to get into the LCS, they'll be dealing with jet lag, they'll be playing a best of 5, which is rough, and it'll be very interesting to see how these new players full of talent and motivation face off against these old dogs that just want to keep their jobs. Relegations aren't fun. I've had to play them twice already, so I prefer watching them.
I can understand that. Well, you mentioned it already. We'll be bringing you those matches live from Los Angeles starting on Tuesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. Central European Summer Time, and that's 10 a.m. Pacific. Now, as we wind down the summer split playoffs, let's take a look at the bracket. Coming up today, we have the 3rd place match between SK Gaming and Roccat. Then on Sunday, Alliance and Fnatic will go head-to-head in the finals for the right to be called Summer Split champions and to take that #1 seed heading into Worlds. So, guys, here on the stage today, SK versus Roccat. After everything we've seen yesterday and you guys talked about, I feel like it's going to go 5 games again, and it's going to be in the little things for these teams.
I'm just interested to see how they cope with their losses, because I've played the same sort of match last year where we faced off Gambit, and both teams, initially coming into the tournament, there were 4 teams for 3 spots. So you think, oh, my odds are really good, I'm going to make it to Worlds. And then you lose your first match, and then you realize there's 1 match to go, 1 more spot. There's 2 teams. We both lost yesterday. Who's going to go on tilt? Who's going to be calm? Who learned from their mistakes yesterday? Because both teams had pretty big mistakes in their play. Rocket's pick and play style, and then even SK had a lot of build errors. Who's going to fix that in such a short time?
I actually like that point, because the mental fortitude that I think Roccat will bring to the table might be superior. They went 3-2. They were considered the underdogs by a very large margin in that series, and they surprised a lot of people. I actually feel like for Roccat, picks and bans is also going to be very, very important. Crepo mentioned the wave here, or lack thereof, in their series yesterday. If they can bolster a smarter Tom position and play to it properly, they may even be able to push SK. And if they can push SK to the late game and SK makes those same positional errors, they're going to take the series. So for me, it is going to be a matter of who can fix the problems that they had yesterday more effectively for today's series, because they both did perform at a higher level than anybody was expecting.
Yeah, whoever I talked to from both teams said, well, we could have won it. Let's see how they can recover today. Remember to go to lolesports.com for more info, and don't forget to click the thumbs up for a team you think will take today's series. We'd also like to hear from you on Twitter. Write to us at lolesports and tell us so much on the line today. Which player do you think will make the biggest impact on today's 3rd place match, and why? Mitch?
I'm looking at Vander. I don't necessarily think he can make the biggest impact, but I want to see what he's going to do, because I feel if Rocket's going to win this, they have to break through SK's bottom lane, because if they do that, they have a good shot at winning. And I think Vander is a really solid, good support player. And I hope he gets his stretch, I hope he gets in his comfort zone, and I hope he just starts playing like he can play, and then we're going to see some beautiful games.
Yeah, his thresh yesterday was fantastic. I'm going to look at Jezus from SK. I feel if he can get onto a champion and make plays happen. Yesterday, his Ari against Alliance was solid. He managed to survive the laning phase. He went toe-to-toe with Froggen, and while he didn't necessarily win, he wasn't necessarily beaten either. And when he found the opportunities to blow somebody up, he can. So I think for SK, the performance will hinge on Jezus and what he can do in the course of the 5 games.
Yeah, my vote is going to go to Jankos, who was also extremely impressive today, but we've repeated it so much yesterday already. Be sure to send those to us using the hashtag LCS, and we'll